Good morning. Uh, this talk is about the recent news in Texas that they delegalized abortion. They basically, in essence, banned abortion. So it's caused a big discussion in this country. I'm not going to take a position for or against. I'm just going to say why it currently, the argument is in, irreconcilable. And in order for it to go forward, it needs to be changed, the argument itself. At this point, it's impossible to know what the argument is even about. First of all, you have to understand that to have an argument, an argument is just supposed to be a debate where both sides, present their view and there's a road to resolution. For example, if you say that salmon is a better protein than any vegetarian protein, and I say that, well, there's vegetarian proteins that are better than salmon, we both have to agree on something, and that something in this case would be that protein is good for the body. If we don't agree on that, we can't argue about it. If I say that surfing is a better sport than skiing, and you say that skiing is a better sport than surfing, in order for the argument to proceed, we both have to agree that skiing and surfing are sports. If we don't agree on that, we can't go forward. So the current argument on the current debate on abortion has been going on now for forever. And the proof of that the debate isn't a worthwhile, doesn't have any real premise, is its own longevity. It's been going on well over 60 years, and it hasn't been resolved yet. So what we have here is not a debate at all. It's a shouting match between two sides. So one side is saying that, they're pro-life. By pro-life, they mean pro-life of the infant. But in essence, the other side is saying the same thing, but they're saying it, that the mother has a right to her own life. Now, so there is a problem here. The problem is obvious that what pro-life means isn't really established. There's one side is more leaning towards the infant, the fetus as life. The other side is leaning more to discount the fetus as life and view the mother's life as the right to life is the mother's life, her life to just make her own decisions about her body. And so how can a resolution be arrived at? Because neither side agrees on anything. The most fundamental, it's so fundamentally flawed, the argument itself. So what needs to be done is to ask, well, let's agree on what life is. At least start there. So if we ask ourselves, well, what is life? then we can start. So if the if the one side says that the mother is obviously living and what's inside her isn't, then there's can be no debate because there's not an agreement on what life is. So somehow an agreement has to be on what life is. So how do you, it has to be a neutral starting point. So in this case, it would have to be to at least reach a, to determine between the two sides, like what is life. If that's not a beginning, as stated at the beginning, then there's no way to get it resolved. So that's where it has to begin. What is life? If the mother of the child, a prospective mother, can't agree that there's a life inside of her, then the debate can't go on, and we shouldn't even be bothering ourselves with it. It's impossible to resolve. So first, for this debate, this current debate, to even begin, it has to be agreed on that what's inside is life. If that's not a starting point, then it's impossible to ever reach an agreement on whether, abortion is taking a life or not. And that's where the argument has to go. So instead of trying to resolve the debate, like either pro-choice, pro-mother's choice to terminate the pregnancy or to continue the pregnancy, as the so-called pro-lifers would have it, the direction it should go is first getting established life, what we're calling life. Then there's a way to move forward, a pathway. Without that, what pathway can there be? It will just go on endlessly.